Okay, hello, good morning. Okay, so I want to talk today about spiritual practitioners and my spiritual practices and journey, and why I'm not always a fan of the way that things are discussed, especially when it comes to Black and Afro Atlantic practices. And for those of you who are new to me, I'm SATAR'RA. I'm a musician, lifetime musician, singer, songwriter, producer, and Afro Atlantic spiritual practitioner. And that means that I've gotten to have a host of different people as my clients, celebrities, and regular everyday people alike. I have a long, long, long waiting list for clients. I'm generally booked a month in advance for consultations. And I make music. I've played with some of your favorite artists. I've written songs for quite a few folks. And I'm currently working on some new stuff of my own, but I've got music out for you to listen to if that's your thing. But I wanted to talk about spirituality today because my life and career ended up putting those things at the forefront and the center very early. And for me, it was a very public healing and really came from that place of personal healing. And so I maybe have a different approach to things than people who came into the traditions seeking in a different way. And so I wanted to come and share that perspective. So, my spiritual journey is really like a continuation and a healing of family legacy. I come from a lot of practitioners, specifically conjure, hoodoo, root work practitioners, as well as doulas, midwives, musicians, hairstylists, folks who do the glamour and mystical performance entertainment, as well as spiritual arts. And that was never really something that I thought of as a job. And actually, because and we'll get into my theory on this later, but I don't necessarily think that because you are spiritually gifted, you are some magical healed person. I think the beauty of growing up in environments like that, where everyone is gifted in that way, is that it gets rid of this idea of exceptionalism that comes with being a spiritual practitioner or a priest. I have seen very, very talented practitioners and very, very talented priests be completely unhinged and unhealthy in their own personal lives and in the ways they deal with others. And if I can be transparent, looking at a lot of the practitioners that I came from, it wasn't something that I saw used in a balanced and really healing focused way. And so I just kind of avoided my gifts, to be honest. I participated in the ways that made sense for me and that felt comfortable, but I didn't try to center the work. After I finished my master's and my undergrad at Berklee College of Music in Boston, yes, your girl is a Berklee grad. Shout out to my community. And Boston's a really spooky kind of haunted place, so I definitely had lots of paranormal and spiritual experiences there that I didn't quite have the training or capacity to deal with, so I didn't know how I wanted to deal with those things. But they were happening nonetheless. But after that, I got really, really sick. I had an ovarian cyst burst when I was at NAMM. For those of you who are musicians, you know what NAMM is. And it was a great day otherwise. I mean, I had so much fun. Verdine White from Earth, Wind and Fire said I was phenomenal. I was there with DR Strings, so I was having a great time. I had just played Afropunk maybe a few months earlier. So I was on my music high, and that health scare put me in the hospital and made me sit down for about 2 to 3 weeks. I had to have a major surgery, so I've got a scar that's long down my belly, and I survived, but it was a really big spiritual awakening and reckoning for me, as well as something that pushed me into health and wellness. And it's one of those reasons why I think you'll see me center health and wellness in my healing work more so than maybe all of the fanfare that people think about when they get to ritual work. Not that we don't love a good ritual work, but I think that you can do all the ritual in the world and not be healthy or upright enough to enjoy your life. And so my journey definitely taught me that. But here nor there, after that, I couldn't tour, right? You can't play gigs. You can't hold the bass. I had to relearn to walk. The first place I walked was the first Black Panther movie. That was my goal, to be able to walk upright, not need a wheelchair, not need crutches or a walker. And we did it. We made it in and out the theater. And we were tired afterwards. I definitely needed a nap, okay? But after that, I had to kind of pivot in the way that I worked, and it meant that I had to center gifts that I had been running from. And so first I started working on the psychic hotline, like no joke at all. Like everyone had a fake name. Everybody was super like dramatic, and that was shocking to me because, like I said, people with psychic gifts or spiritual gifts were normal, so it wasn't like they needed a costume in my world. And I considered like having an alias, but that's just not me. I don't know if I could have kept up with that. So I was just there as myself, y'all. Like everyone was like, I'm Madame Zeroni and I'm here to tell your future. And I was like, I'm SATAR'RA. If you need to know things, call me. And I got really, really popular on the psychic hotline, but I did not enjoy it. It was always people asking me about, like, is my husband cheating on me? Like, I don't want to hear about that anymore. I can only tell you yes so many times, girl. I don't know what to say. So psychic hotline wasn't for me. And, you know, true hustler, I don't like nobody taking a cut of my money, and I don't like being paid by the minute. On the hotline, you're paid by the minute, so people are really encouraged to, like, keep you there for a long time, I felt like pretend they don't know the answer to your question. Ooh, I'm searching, I'm seeking, give me a minute, I'm seeing something, like a lot of that. And that didn't appeal to me because I am very clear oftentimes in what I see and what I hear, and I'm known for my accuracy, and so that wasn't a great way of working for me. The best way of working for me was to charge a flat rate and to offer that time to whoever it is that I'm consulting with, and either we use all of the time or we use some of it, but I answer your questions and that's it. And if we get done in 5 minutes, because I gave you the answers you need in 5 minutes, I don't think I should be punished for that. So I took a risk and I put it in my bio, and I thought everyone who knew me from music stuff alone was going to be so shocked. I thought everyone was going to be like, oh my God, she's so evil and she's doing what? And it was none of that. Everybody was not surprised, and they were like, we knew it. We could kind of tell just from the way that you engage with people that there was some depth there. And so a lot of my peers were very interested in my gift and were some of my first supporters. So if you were like one of an early supporter, y'all don't even know. I was reading from like my sick bed, y'all, just waiting to be able to hold my bass again, just waiting to be able to like dance again and move again. And so my spiritual work really carried me in that time, and my community really carried me in that time. Then, you know what, that was 2018, 2019, the pandemic happened, and we were all inside anyway, and so my work blew up. I was booked out for like the year, and it continued like that, like for 2 years, just consistent bookings, consistent work, while working on new music, while consulting with others, working on others' projects. And so it was a very busy time, but it taught me a lot. And I got to be in community with a lot of other practitioners. And I was just speaking with a dear friend about this, but I can be like not the most social when it comes to spiritual work and things, because oftentimes I think people conflate their desire for community and their desire for motherhood or healthy family dynamics for what they're going to receive in spiritual community, and spiritual community can never replace your family or fix the issues. Sorry if it's loud. Fix the issues that you came here with. They can only help you heal through those things. And so for me, when I first got to see a lot of the ways that people were positioning themselves as healers and as spiritualists, it really gave me the ick. I don't like the costumes. I don't like the positioning of themselves as above other people. I don't like the diaspora wars. I don't like any of it. It just felt corny and cheesy. And like I said, when I started this work, I was in the practice of healing myself. I needed actual healing, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I was breaking generational curses in real time, and in a lot of ways I still am. And I wasn't interested in the performance of it all, especially because I make music. I'm a performer. So when it's my time to get on stage and perform and sing and play my instrument, I'm going to put on that show. But when I show up as a practitioner or I show up as a healer, I tend to really put my focus outside of myself. And so it was really shocking to me to see the amount of ego and I'm better than you wars that were going on, especially from people who were so clearly unhealed to me, right? I think that especially in Afro-Atlantic traditions, we're in the understanding that there's always something seeking to create imbalance for you, seeking to create spiritual imbalance, physical imbalance, mental, emotional imbalance. And so we are in the practice of creating and equipping you with the tools to create your own balance. That's the way I think of it. And so no one's ever perfect, right? There's always something to be healed or rectified or put in place. And those moments of peace and ease that you get, you learn to enjoy, and you learn to make sure that the work that you do is worth it. And so I don't know, I'm much more of a journey focused and skills focused practitioner. And I think that a lot of people are focused on power tripping or building the biggest spiritual houses or being seen as the biggest, baddest in the West. And like I said, that wasn't my focus. I came into these traditions in a place of real need. And I'm grateful to say that the ways that I have elevated myself and the things that I've accomplished even now, I can attribute to the grace of my ancestors, my diligence, my elders, my obedience to what was said to me, and my willingness to take risk and disagree with people at times. But I don't necessarily agree with a lot of what I see when it comes to conjure, hoodoo, and African Atlantic, Afro spiritual, any way you want to call it, traditions. And that's not a personal attack on anybody, but it's just the way that I approach, because I'm not new to this. I grew in this, and I grew in this with all of the chaos and dysfunction that comes when you are really in these communities. And so I tend to have a higher bar for what it looks like to position yourself as an elder, and it's why I was so hesitant to position myself even as a practitioner for the public, because y'all, I'm still figuring it out. But I think the thing that has been most telling for me has been that willingness to be figuring it out is why a lot of people put their trust in me, and why those same people come and see my shows and support me and love the music. Because I mean, we all make things to express ourselves, but for me, expression, recording, the studio, my wellness journey when it comes to yoga, Pilates, and my spiritual journey are all like you guys watching me heal, expand, grow in real time. And I'm so grateful. I used to be ashamed, and now I'm grateful that I get to be seen in progress and seen not only as a practitioner and a healer, but as a person. And so with that said, my books are open for consultations. If that's what you want and that's what you've been looking for from me, the time is finally here. And I am always playing shows, working on new music, working with other people on things. I'm looking for collaborators. So really for my project, I've got all of these great records and demos, and I'm trying to put the baddest heifers on the floor. Right? Heifers is gender neutral, but I'm here for the girlies. So if you're a female producer, guitar player, drummer, keys player, and you want to link up and you want to make some music, that's what I'm on. And when I have space, my books are open. We're booking for April because, like, I stay booked in advance, as baddies do. But if you need some one-on-one time in April around spiritual thingies, I'm your girl. All right, I'm trying to show up more and be more visible in these spaces in general, and so here you go. It's me. I'm SATAR'RA, singer, songwriter, bassist, producer, yoga girl, Pilates girl, wellness girl, that girl. All right, love you. Bye.